Number 1.
Andrés Escobar, the footballer murdered after an own goal in 1994. Andrés Escobar was known as El Caballero del Fútbol, the gentleman of football. Calm, disciplined, and respected, he was the kind of player Colombia looked up to. But in 1994, one mistake turned his life into a tragic symbol of a nation under pressure. During the World Cup match against the United States, Escobar stretched to stop a cross. His foot deflected the ball into his own net. Colombia lost, and their tournament ended. Most players would face criticism. Escobar faced something far more dangerous. Back home, tension was already high. Powerful criminal groups had poured money into football bets. The own goal cost them millions. In Medellin, Colombia, emotions boiled over. On July 2nd, Andrés went out to a nightclub, hoping to calm down after the World Cup exit. Witnesses say a group of men confronted him, mocking the own goal. Andrés tried to defuse the situation, explaining it was just a mistake, part of the game. Minutes later, in the parking lot, one of the men pulled a gun and shot him 6 times. Each shot reportedly matched the number of the own goal replay they had mocked. Andrés Escobar died at 27. His funeral drew thousands. His final words in a newspaper days earlier echoed across Colombia: "Life doesn't end here." But his murder revealed how dangerous football had become when a single moment on the pitch cost a player his life.
Number 2.
The assassination of Albert Ebossé, struck by a projectile from his own fans in 2014. Albert Ebossé wasn't just a striker. He was the heartbeat of JS Kabylie that season, a calm, humble Cameroonian forward who carried his team through difficult matches. On August 23, 2014, he scored their only goal in a tough 2-1 defeat. Instead of applause, he walked off the field into a storm of anger. As the players made their way toward the tunnel, the atmosphere shifted from disappointment to hostility. Fans who had cheered minutes earlier were now shouting, throwing bottles, stones, and shards of broken tiles. Ebossé kept moving, trusting security to control the chaos. Then it happened. A single projectile, a jagged piece of tile, struck him with brutal force. He dropped instantly. Staff and teammates gathered, thinking it was a minor impact. But the look in his eyes told another story. At the hospital, doctors tried desperately to revive him, but the head injury was catastrophic. Albert Ebossé was pronounced dead that night at just 24 years old. His death shook African football. The league shut down all matches. The stadium was closed. Supporters, journalists, and players demanded answers. How could a player be killed by the very fans who claim to love the sport? Ebossé's story became a painful reminder of what happens when passion turns into violence, and how a moment of rage ended the life of a young man who simply came to play the game he loved.
Number 3.
The FIFA corruption storm, bribes, kickbacks, and the fall of Sepp Blatter, 2015. For years, FIFA looked untouchable, a global giant controlling the world's most loved sport. But behind the celebrations, a hidden empire of bribes and secret deals was quietly running the show. By 2015, the pressure finally exploded. Federal investigators uncovered a massive network of corruption inside FIFA, executives taking millions in bribes, selling World Cup votes, and signing broadcasting deals that secretly funneled money into private accounts. The scale wasn't small. It stretched across continents, involving banks, marketers, and top officials. The breakthrough came in May 2015. Swiss police stormed a luxury hotel in Zurich and arrested several FIFA leaders. The world watched in shock as officials were escorted out in handcuffs. The message was clear: no one was above the law. At the center of it all stood Sepp Blatter, FIFA's longtime president. For years, he denied wrongdoing, claiming he knew nothing about the corruption around him. But investigations revealed suspicious payments, hidden contracts, and a culture of business as usual under his watch. Days after winning re-election, the pressure became unbearable. Blatter announced he would step down. Soon after, he was banned from football for ethics violations. The scandal shook the entire sport, exposing how power, money, and secrecy nearly destroyed the organization trusted to protect the game. FIFA survived, but its reputation will never be the same.
Number 4.
Diego Maradona was more than a footballer. He was a force of nature. A boy from Villa Fiorito who dribbled past poverty long before he dribbled past defenders. By the 1980s, he wasn't just famous, he was a global icon. His feet wrote miracles, his flaws wrote tragedies. At Napoli, Maradona became a god. He carried a struggling club to glory, winning titles others thought impossible. Stadiums shook when he touched the ball. But the pressure, the fame, and the non-stop spotlight pushed him into darker places. Behind closed doors, cocaine, late-night parties, and dangerous friendships became part of his routine. His addiction grew quietly for years, hidden behind unforgettable performances. But eventually it spilled onto the field. Missed trainings, failed drug tests, sudden disappearances. The cracks became too big to hide. In 1991, he was banned for doping. The legend was still alive, but the man was falling apart. After football, Maradona kept fighting his demons: health scares, public breakdowns, and repeated attempts at recovery. Some days he won, many days he didn't. Yet through it all, people never stopped loving him, because behind the scandals was a kid who rose from nothing and gave the world magic it had never seen. Maradona lived loud, burned bright, and struggled openly. A reminder that even the greatest legends carry battles we never see.
Number 5.
The Calciopoli scandal: how referees were secretly controlled in Italian football. In 2006, Italian football was at its peak: packed stadiums, fierce rivalries, and global stars. But beneath the passion, a hidden system was quietly steering the outcomes of matches. It wasn't bad luck or bad decisions, it was control. Investigators uncovered phone calls between top club officials and referee selectors. The plan was simple: choose referees who favored certain teams and avoid those who didn't. It wasn't match fixing in the classic sense: no money on the table, no instructions to lose. Instead, it was influence, pressure, and subtle manipulation. At the center stood Juventus general manager Luciano Macchi. His network reached deep into the referee assignment system. If a ref was friendly, he got the big matches. If not, he disappeared from the list. Week after week, it shaped the league without anyone noticing. When prosecutors released the recordings, Italy exploded. Fans, players, and journalists realized the truth. Some of the biggest matches of the era had been quietly tilted. The fallout was massive. Juventus was stripped of 2 titles and relegated to Serie B. Other clubs received heavy penalties. Careers ended overnight. Trust in the league collapsed. Calciopoli became a warning to the football world. Corruption doesn't always look like a bribe in an envelope. Sometimes it's just a phone call deciding who holds the whistle.